Okay, so what are we going to be talking about today? So today we're going to be talking about what mental health is. What is good mental health? What hurts us in terms of our mental health, signs of needing mental health help, what helps our mental health, as well as what are some resources that are available to us. So, what are some adults or what are some community resources that can help us out when we're not feeling so great? Okay. So what is it? So as you can see, I have a picture of different suckers. So there's a sucker that looks like it has a sad face. There's one that looks happy. There's one that kind of looks surprised. And so these are just physical representations of what mental health looks like. So those are emotions, but mental health is more than just emotions. It's how we feel, think, and act. It's, of course, if we're feeling happy, angry, sad, excited, or a variety of other feelings. It's also about how we think. So, our choices, our beliefs, our values, and how we act. So, our behavior, how we interact with other people. So, how we're social as well. All right. So we're going to talk little bit about what's good mental health. So as you can see here, I have a little tree. And so this tree is a healthy tree. So it has green leaves, it has a nice healthy brown trunk, it's getting the water, the sunlight it needs, probably in a really good space. So that's kind of how we can look at good mental health when we're like this tree and we're getting all the nourishment and we're in a good place. So what are some signs of it? Feeling safe and comfortable. I'm pretty sure this tree feels pretty comfortable. Feeling connected to self and others, positive beliefs about ourselves. So when we think I'm capable, I can do it, I'm doing a good job, my family, my friends, they love me. Those are positive things that we may say to ourselves when we have good mental health. Having I can do it attitude. So once again, that's another positive belief. I'm able to do this, even if something's really hard and really difficult. Being able to have a range of feelings. And so when I say range, that means not just one feeling here or there, but all of the different feelings. So remember the slide before where I said someone could be happy or sad or mad or excited. So if you have good mental health, that means you're able to feel all of the different things and then able to work through challenge. So there are going to be difficult, hard times in life, but when you have good mental health, you're able to kind of work through it. You're able to figure out how to help yourself, or you're able to ask other people how they can help you figure it out. Oh, goodness. So what do we have here? Well, it looks like our friend, the good tree or the healthy tree, is on the left. So it's green, has a brown trunk. But then if you look over here, what do we see? We see a tree that has lost its leaves, it's no longer colorful. It just doesn't look like it's in a good place. And so, one way of kind of thinking about this or looking at this is sometimes our good mental health can turn into mental health that's just declining or it's not so great. And that happens in life. And so when we think about trees have different seasons, right? So trees have seasons when they have flowers, they have leaves, and then they also have seasons where those leaves fall off or those leaves turn brown. And so one way of looking at mental health is that sometimes there's different seasons, just like with trees for our mental health. And sometimes it's what happened that creates a season of brown leaves or leaves that are falling off. So let's see what happened to this tree and see if there's a way for us to help it out. So unfortunately, this tree represents all the things that hurts our mental health. So trauma. So when we think about trauma, trauma is essentially anytime there's an experience or a set of experiences that overwhelms our ability to deal with it or to handle it. It's just so much stress that our minds and our bodies and our mental health just is hard. So, like if you're, you know, if there was a car accident or you saw someone get hurt in front of you, or even you yourself was hurt, that can definitely be considered trauma. Um, Trauma can also be physical. So if you actually ever really, really hurt yourself and it's kind of hard for you to get back up and move along, then that's definitely trauma. Negative social experiences. So if you've ever been bullied before, if you ever felt like the adults around you don't hear you or they don't listen to you, if you've ever come across social media. So if you've been on social media and people are saying mean things, those are considered negative social interactions. Those are not things that help our mental health. Those situations hurt our mental health. And a part of good mental health is feeling connected. Ongoing stress. So, what is that? So, we all experience stress in life, but ongoing stress is where, let's say, I don't know, I missed the bus this morning and then my mom or dad, they were fussing at me in the car. And then when I get to school, I realize I don't have my lunch. And then after school, I found out my grandmother is having a really hard time. And then I feel like I can't understand my homework. And let's say this happens like 2 or 3 days a week. That is ongoing stress. Or your family may be dealing with other things that happen not just once, but multiple times. That can definitely impact your mental health and make your leaves turn brown or make your leaves fall off. And that response is normal. So, that ongoing stress, that's a normal response where you don't feel so great. Transitions and changes. If you move, for some people, moving can be really difficult. Or let's say you're going from kindergarten to first grade, or from fifth or sixth grade to middle school. So, transitions and changes can definitely hurt our mental health if we don't have ways of trying to understand how do I work through this, or who can help support me as I go through this. Your physical health. So naturally, when we don't feel good mentally, how we think, how we feel, and even how we behave or how we act, that can change. We may not have motivation. We may not want to do things that we used to do because we just don't feel well physically. And sometimes physical health can be ongoing stress. Like if you've been sick for days or weeks, that can definitely hurt you and your mental health. And then our environment. So, who we're around. Are we in a clean environment? Are we in an environment where we feel happy and healthy, a fun environment? Or are we in an environment where we don't feel seen or heard or we're unsafe? So, how do we know when our mental health needs help? So, if there's changes in eating and sleeping, so I'm eating more or eating less than I used to. I'm sleeping more. I'm sleeping less. I'm having nightmares. I'm feeling disconnected from people. So what that means is you feel like you don't want to be around people, or you don't want to be bothered, or you feel misunderstood, or you feel like people just don't get it. You just no longer feel connected to your friends or your family. Feeling isolated from others, which is kind of the same. You just don't feel like being in the company of other people. Loss of interest in activities. So let's say after school, you really like to go outside and play with your friends, or you really like to help your dad cook, or whatever it may be. You like to play sports. And because of your mental health changing, you don't feel so great. Your thoughts aren't so great. You may not want to do any of that stuff anymore. Physical changes. So you may be gaining more weight because of your eating changing, your sleeping changing, or you may be losing weight. It's not just about weight. It could also be you notice I'm having a lot of headaches, or I'm noticing my tummy hurts. So those are some signs that you may need some help when your stomach hurts all the time, and there's just like a bubble there, and your head hurts all the time and you don't understand. Sometimes that may be a sign that you need some additional support. We all feel angry and sad, but if you notice times you feel sad and angry most of the time. So let's say Normally, you only feel sad once or twice a month or angry, here or there. But now I'm feeling sad almost every day, or it's becoming, I'm sad for longer periods of time, or I'm almost angry all the time. That's a sign. Your difficulty with focusing and concentrating. So sometimes that is a signal that you need mental health help. It's hard for you to focus. You may zone out and not pay attention. Your teacher's like, hello, hey, are you there? And you just realize, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about a whole bunch of things. I can't focus. And then increase of negative and unsafe thoughts and urges. So if you find yourself thinking like, I don't want to live, I don't want to be here, I think I might want to hurt myself or hurt other people, that's definitely a sign that you need some additional support and help. So what helps our mental health? Connection to our body. So feeling like your body's strong and healthy, you are able to stretch, you are able to engage in sports, you're able to breathe, and you notice when your body feels good and you notice when your body doesn't feel so great. So you can work on it. So being connected to your body is very important, and that can help your mental health because your body is connected to your mental health. Being thankful. Okay. So thankfulness definitely helps us. Just finding the little things every day. I'm grateful that I had breakfast this morning. I'm grateful that someone came to pick me up from school. I'm grateful that someone helped me with my homework, or I had a friend that said a kind word to me. So you see this little water pail that I have here. So this is like watering your tree, is making sure your tree gets the things that it needs to do well and survive. More water would be healthy activities you enjoy. So if you're feeling a little sad or angry, you know what? Maybe me going to jump rope, that might actually help me feel a little bit better, even when I'm feeling this way. Humor, laughing, joking, playing, all of those things can help our mental health. Social connectedness. So helping others, being there for your friends, being there for your family, and also having healthy relationships. And healthy relationships are relationships where you feel safe, you feel comfortable, you feel secure, you feel like the person's consistent, which means that they're there for you more times than they're not. And when we have those things, we definitely can tell our mental health is getting better. It's important to be connected to others. So we talked about some of the things we can water. We can water our tree with, but what else do trees need? Of course, they need sunlight. And so I have a nice little sun here that's dancing around. And so what else can help? What is our sun? What does that sunshine look like? Brain work, learning new information, trying new things. So you developing interests. So something maybe new that's fun that you haven't tried before. Learning about things that interest you to see if it's something that, will kind of help you work through any challenges you may have. Sometimes just learning new information helps our mental health because it takes away from the things that are bothering us. It's like giving your brain exercise, developing and using coping skills. So, a coping skill is something you do, or whether it's just yourself or with another person to help you get through the challenges we have or the hard times we may have in life. So finding ways to work through the challenges. A coping skill can be something as simple as I'm taking deep breaths. It can be something as simple as I'm choosing to think differently about this. I'm choosing to ask an adult for help, or I'm noticing what's happening in my body and I can make a different choice based upon what I'm noticing about how I feel. And another thing that's our sunshine is being honest and open with safe people about our thoughts and feelings. That's so important. We can open up to people, but it's important when we're feeling a certain way. What helps us is being open with safe people. And we all should have at least one or two people in our lives that we feel that way with. So what are some resources that are available to help? I'm going to say the best thing for you to do is to talk to your school counselor or talk to your teacher if you need help. And what the school counselor or the teacher will do is they will speak to, they'll make what we call a referral, and they'll contact our clinic or they'll contact our school-based team. And they usually can call the number below at 972-502-4190 for more information about mental health services, but we have individual, family, group counseling. We also have physical health services, which is just as important when it comes to our mental health. So Parkland Hospital helps us also through the clinic. And then for school-based services, we have individual and group counseling to general education students. And it's a little bit more short-term, like 4 to 6 times you can meet with a school-based clinician, but they can also help if you feel like you want to hurt yourself or you notice that how you're feeling and your mental health changing is kind of impacting your academics, like if you can't focus or concentrate. They can also help you out with that. And sometimes we know that you're not at school 24/7. So if you're like spring break is coming up, if you're on spring break or it's after hours or it's the weekend, finding an adult that you can talk to that's safe. And if you're not able to, there's different resources in the community. So if you're in a crisis or have suicidal thoughts, and suicidal thoughts are thoughts of wanting to harm yourself or end your life or hurt yourself, then you can definitely call. And these are anonymous numbers. You can call 214-828-1000. And if you're not a big, I'm going to talk to someone on the phone, you can always text connect to 741-741 to reach the National Crisis Text Line. Some people like to text more, and so they can support you and help you determine what options you have and to help you. So at the end of the day, our mental health is here to stay. It changes, and sometimes we need help. Sometimes we can handle things on our own with ourselves. But if you notice any of the things that I mentioned changing and you're just feeling bad more times than not, then definitely reach out to your teacher, your school counselor, and they can help. Also reaching out to those crisis lines that I mentioned, they can also help. Finding a trusted adult to speak to. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I hope you guys have a good one and see you later.